From the News Channel 8 studios, let's talk live with your hosts, Natasha Barrett and Doug McElway.
All right, well, the average American does one thing for more than 56 hours a week, and it's not good for anyone.
Guess what it is? We're actually doing it right now. Yep. Sitting down. While a welcome break after, some exercise, a long walk or something, feels great to sit, right? But people are spending way too much time right on their bums. Today, Dr. Val Jones is here. She's from the Better Health, and she says that this sedentary lifestyle could be worse than we actually thought. So welcome, doctor. Good to have you here.
Thank you.
You say there's something actually called sitting disease?
Yes, and I think it's quite ironic that we're all sitting down to talk about it.
Maybe we should be standing up or something.
Yeah. It's Walk and Talk Live is the next show, right?
Absolutely.
But you're right. I mean, the average American spends about 11 hours a day, 5 days a week sitting.
11 hours.
It's incredible.
Well, that doesn't surprise me really, because we all have jobs. Well, most people have jobs sitting in front of a computer, right, all day.
That's right. I mean, technological advances have been wonderful, in terms of what we can accomplish from a business perspective, but it's taken its toll on our bodies. And there are short-term and long-term health effects of sitting so much. Of course, the short-term effects might be anything from getting blood clots in your legs from not moving them around, to gaining weight, muscle atrophy, and metabolism slowing down. And then, of course, if you sit for long enough and you become obese, then there's all those other health effects.
Now, spider veins, are those contributed to maybe sitting down too long as well, or is that something different?
That's an interesting question. Yeah. It's not really directly related to sitting so much. That's more of a female hormonal thing.
What about crossing your legs when you're sitting?
Well, as long as you're not frozen in a position for too long, that isn't going to be a risk. I noticed you uncrossed your legs right there.
Yes.
But it's really important to keep moving throughout the day. And the problem is we think of exercise as something you do once in the day or maybe a few times a week. But why do we think of it that way? It's about moving all throughout the day and staying active. So we don't think of food eating 3 times a week. So why should we think of exercise only doing it 3 times a week? It's really the little things that add up that really matter.
So say that you're stuck behind a desk. What can you do to kind of force yourself to exercise a little bit to prevent this from happening?
Well, you have to be conscious of your risk of sitting disease. First of all, you need to know that you aren't moving around enough, and that puts you at risk for weight gain and for all of the complications we mentioned. And you have to have a strategy. I think that some people get pretty aggressive with this. I know there's a researcher at the Mayo Clinic who actually has a treadmill that he walks on very slowly as he types on his computer all day. So if you
how do you do that?
That's probably extreme, but it's
some talent there.
It's talent. There's a good idea. But other than that, I mean, what you might want to do is remind yourself to get up every hour, to walk around, to, make the stairs rather than, taking the elevator, and just reminding yourself that it's the little things that add up.
And it really is shocking when you compare our generation to, people in the 50s and 60s. If you look at the old TV and movies, you could see people were just generally thinner, right? I mean, the kids were more active. Parents used to tell their kids, go outside and play, and the kids would go outside and play. Nowadays, might be maybe not so safe for them to do that without parents just, sitting outside with them all the time.
That's true. Well, that same researcher at the Mayo Clinic, James Levine, he actually is doing research on something called NEAT, non-exercise activity thermogenesis, which means
that's a mouthful.
all of the things that you do that aren't really specifically exercise. And he found that there are about 2,000 calories a day difference between a person who has an active profession versus someone who has a sitting profession.
Wow.
Now, I grew up on a farm where I know that baling hay is a lot of work.
Sure.
and then so lately I've become more of a sitting disease type person, but just imagine the 2,000 calories difference, and that's not even including any specific exercise.
Wow. So things like, for example, in the house, walking up and down the stairs, throwing a load of wash in.
That's right.
Standing at the sink, doing your dishes or whatever.
That's right.
All those things add to this NEAT thing you're talking about?
That's right. And overall, the more calories you can burn in the day, the less likely it is that you'll become overweight and that sort of thing. So it sort of takes a lot of creative thinking about what can I do to make this active. Do I need to go to a movie, or maybe I'm going to go bowling? I mean, those are the little choices every day that we make.
Can you make up for it? Say that you're at a desk all day and you just hit the gym, just go hard for like a good hour. Can you make up for the fact that you've been sitting all day at work and not moving around as much? Or
You can,
Okay.
but what's surprising, and you hit on it exactly, is that it is 60 minutes as the minimum. Most people think, well, if I do 30 minutes, that takes care of my exercise requirement. I can sit for the next 11 hours. It's not really true. It's really 60 full minutes of exercise with your heart elevated.
every
So
day?
you're talking about cardio.
Yeah.
You're not talking about maybe doing weights or toning exercises as part of that hour.
Oh, no. That's also very good. I'm just saying that in your mind, you should know that to counteract 11 hours of sitting, you need a full hour of cardio.
Wow.
And then the weights are also very valuable, too.
And so many diseases, it seems, are linked to obesity and the slowing down of the system.
Yeah.
Because, I mean, even though, you may have just the obesity as a problem, but maybe down the road you could get some other more serious diseases.
Heart disease, diabetes, and even cancer have been linked to heavier weights. So this is very serious, and it's something that we can avoid and prevent. So that's the good news. I mean, we can do something about this right now.
Yeah.
I mean,
and not a bad idea to have a pedometer, right? You brought one.
absolutely. This is
With
my favorite way to sort of give myself a reminder of where I am on the movement scale, and 10,000 steps a day is sort of a recommended amount for most Americans. So if you wear a pedometer all day and you remind yourself to get up from your desk every once in a while and walk around, at the end of the day you can see how well you've been doing, and you'll be surprised that you probably still need to go to the gym.
Yeah.
Oh, really?
It's a good way to track,
That's
your
right.
steps. So
10,000 sounds like a lot.
Yeah, for me it ends up being about 4 miles of walking throughout the course of the day. But if you do it in little bits, it does add up.
Boy, you just have to really constantly remind yourself, get going.
You have to
Don't
constantly.
sit.
keep moving.
That's right. Don't think of
Right,
exercise as, that protected, 30 or 40, maybe 60 minutes a day, but it's, the course of the entire day that really adds up and matters.
Easy way to combat those holiday pounds.
That's right. And for New Year's resolutions, it's important to
Absolutely.
think about what are you going to do to get active.
Okay, good advice. Dr. Val Jones, CEO of Better Health, thanks so much for helping us to get off our buns.
And that's what I'm going to do right now.
Okay.